Just the basics, but I think the thing that really separates
that's a lot.
the basics, yeah. Just the essentials for me.
That sounds so heavy. Also, for listeners, you always walk, right? You always walk.
About 2 miles a day with my bag, yeah.
Wow,
every day.
That's so much. I would estimate that is at least 10 pounds, right?
Oh, my typical loadout is right about 23 pounds.
Wow.
That's normally what I carry, 23 pounds.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Ismono podcast, and I'm really happy to have a returning guest with me. It's John from UnPack'D. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining me. First and foremost, how are you? I didn't ask you that. I started the conversation right with dogs. I'm so sorry about that. I should have asked about you, not about your dogs.
I'm doing good. I'm on the other side of a sickness. You probably hear a little bit left of it in my throat, but I'm on the other side of a cold. But overall, I'm doing pretty good. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm good. Unfortunately, global warming has hit Germany. We have 14 degrees today, so it's actually spring weather considering we're in December. I don't know what's going on. It's really warm outside.
Really warm. I just saw our local newscast said it's going to be about 30 degrees hotter than our typical Christmas. So we're going to be shorts and t-shirt this Christmas here in Texas. Yeah. It's going to be like a full spring day for us during Christmas.
But on the other side, or the flip side, my buddy is currently visiting Chicago, and Chicago is really cold at the moment. Yeah. Minus 11 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's
damn cold.
Below. Yeah, it's below freezing. So it always amazes me about the climate differences in USA. Feeling like, okay, you talk to a buddy and he's like all freezing and you're there in shorts in the sun. It's crazy. So how are you? It's been almost a year since we've talked. So how is everything going on with you, especially in regards to your YouTube channel and bag reviews? The channel has grown quite a bit.
It's probably doubled in size. I'm still relatively small compared to some of the larger creators like yourself. But I mean, just the fact that 3,500 people want to hang out with me and watch videos. I mean,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I just picture, if I had 3,500 people in a room talking, like it's amazing. So it's going good. I actually bought my very first camera. So no more videos on my cell phone. So I'm trying to improve a little bit behind the scenes, but also improve in front of camera because I'm not a natural, you know what I mean? Everything is rehearsed and I try to pronunciate and you know how it goes.
Yeah, I know, but it definitely shows that you have improved. And
I appreciate that.
That's really cool. And I mean, it's cool to see that you kind of switch to a camera, but how's the experience for you now? Because I feel like I imagine that you always having been using an iPhone was much easier for you to film outside because you wouldn't be that self-conscious about it. How is it now with the camera? Do you feel weirded out being now an influencer?
So the camera, it lives at home on a tripod. I haven't gone that far. I use my DJI Pocket 3 when I do outdoors. So it's way more compact, way more discreet, a lot more easy to hide. So I haven't gone full gimbal and camera and microphone. I haven't done that.
Not yet.
Not yet. Maybe at 5,000 subscribers.
5,000 more? You mean?
no. Maybe when I hit 5,000.
Yeah, that would happen soon. I mean, that grows really fast at some point. Once you hit that 1,000 mark, and then it goes really fast exponentially. I feel like. So since we've talked, it's been quite a few months. I would like to know. Were there any memorable bags? Usually I ask these memorable things of the last 12 months later in the conversation, but now I bring it up earlier. So were there any memorable bags that you've been
Absolutely.
reviewing?
Yeah, I have two bags that are really just kind of set themselves apart from everything else that I've touched and reviewed, and even bags that I haven't reviewed yet. One was the Embarro Raven.
Embarro Raven, never heard of that.
That's it's a newer company. I was fortunate to snag one on their first release. That bag is really just on a different level. A lot of new things.
Oh, Embarro. Oh yeah, I know.
The Embarro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then also the Grams 28, the 301 Adventure. I really like that bag. Yeah. That's actually, I'm working on editing that video right now, but everything about the bag I just really enjoy.
It looks really good. I really, both bags that you just mentioned, I really want to check out. But with the Grams 28 one, I was wondering, is it heavy?
It is. It's only a 20. Heavy. It's a 21 liter bag, and it's just almost under 4 pounds.
Oh,
so
wow.
it is heavy, but I think the trade off, because it's a small bag, you can't really overload it. But it is a substantial bag, and even though it's 21 liters, it has a pretty hefty footprint and it's pretty hefty weight. But I'll deal with it because I just love the weight, I love the materials, I love the bag itself, and sometimes you carry heavier bags, even though it's just because you enjoy them.
It's a premium bag, right?
Oh, for sure. Well, both of them are.
Yeah, the Embarro is also, I've seen those on Instagram and on your posts as well. I now remember that I also wrote you about it because I feel like it is a unique looking bag. It looks really good.
It's very unique looking bag. It's Dyneema, but the inside is a custom printed VX15 liner. I have the purple wave one, and it's just the.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah, now that you say it, that was just the reason why I asked you about it.
Really cool bag. Just leather bits, about leather bottom. It has a Cobra ladder locks. It even has a Cobra sternum strap. So very cool bag.
But it's always kind of like, I'm at the website right now. It's always limited quantity, right?
Yes, because those are handmade in Virginia by a single maker. So anything that's so cool. Made entirely by one person. Yeah, so I think cool. the very first drop was very limited in bags, but for those who were able to snag one, I think you're not going to hear a bad word about that bag because it's just the build quality and the bag itself is just really incredible.
Would it be a fair assessment or a fair look at it that you kind of are remembering those two bags specifically based on the material choices and their looks, or is it something else that made you remember that?
It's absolutely that, because I think that I consume so much bag content and I have so many bags myself, just here. I have so many bags, only half of what I even have gets to make it on the channel just because of time's sake, right? I don't have enough time to produce lots of videos, but it's really those bags that have the exceptional build quality, exceptional materials that kind of stick out from everything else. Because everything else is kind of like not similar. They're similar materials and they're built for every day. They're built for heavy use. They kind of tread that same line. And then you have the outliers, right, that go above and beyond and using leather when you don't really need to use leather in a backpack, right? But the leather zipper pulls, the leather top handle, just little bits about the bag that separate it from kind of just, your everyday bags that are on the market.
But how about you in terms of leather? I have two Grams 28 bags in rotation. One is the Moon bag that I actually gave to my wife now, and the 157. And while I do feel like they are really premium in terms of quality, I do feel hesitant using those sling bags, especially now in winter when it could potentially rain or there is snow, because while I do feel like these bags are fairly weather resistant, it is still leather, right? And you basically see when leather gets kind of soaky and wet, it gets some different properties. Do you feel, and I feel like with a backpack, it's more likely so that you kind of notice, I don't want to bring it in rain. How do you feel about that? Would you bring that bag when it's raining, or?
Probably not when it's raining, because I do walk every day with my bag, so I'm in the outdoor elements. But on the flip side, I'm in South Texas, and rain is never an issue, and that's why I know, like, depending on where you live, right? Like you probably deal with snow and heavy rain, so that's going to be a real concern. But for me, I prefer bags without AquaGuard zippers. I'm never concerned about the rain, the waterproofness. Like that's just never really an issue for me because I mean, it only rains a handful of times here. And I've never really, I can't even imagine a time where I was just caught in a downpour or where, you know, that became an issue here in Texas, you know. Absolutely. When traveling, that's going to be 100% on my radar. And I wouldn't use those certain bags because like when I was in Bangkok, man, I got hammered for like 40 minutes. I was stuck out on the river. I was just in a downpour. I mean, everything, it ruined my power banks, everything I had. It's totally different.
But how about, I mean, that might be a very uneducated and stupid question, but especially since cowboys use a lot of leather. But I would wonder, would you, let's say you walk every single day for 2 hours, so 1 hour in the sun, 1 hour back in the sun, in very high UV exposure and high heat. Do you think you would need to kind of take care of the leather a little bit more? Kind of like use some, how you call it, like
conditioner, leather conditioner.
Leather conditioner.
No, 100%. Because like you mentioned, the heat and the UV rays are a big problem. So if like you have leather seats in your car, they will 100% just crack. They will crack and crumble with the Texas heat. So you absolutely have to condition your leather here because also we fight a lot of humidity as well. So it's kind of weird, you know, being super hot, but also really muggy sometimes. Yeah. So no, if anybody knows here in Texas, if you have leather seats, like if you don't condition your seats a year and a half, and then they're just going to crumble and crack. And
so you probably would need to take care of that grams 28 bag.
Yeah, for
after
sure.
a while.
So the good thing about the 301 Adventure, it's actually made out of X11. So the leather parts on the bag are only the trims, like the handle, the zipper pulls. X11 is a phenomenal fabric. I think that's probably my favorite version of X-Pac. Like now that I've had this bag, I can easily see why so many people like it. And I just totally fell in love with X11.
I love X-Pac as well. But I thought there were 2 versions, wasn't there?
No, there's a bunch. There's 40 there's X42, X50, X51.
No, I mean off the bag. I mean, isn't there a fully leather one? I thought
not on this one. Not on this one. They just released the Rover collection that literally just came out maybe a day or so ago. So I'm not quite sure what that one's made out of. But the X11, it has a cotton face, so it feels like a canvas bag. You know what I mean?
That Rover edition looks amazing.
It looks amazing. Yeah, I have the olive X11 and it's beautiful, but the Rover looks really, really killer.
Wow.
But yeah, so since it has that cotton face as the fabric, it feels like a canvas bag, but you have all the technical properties of X-Pac. So you have the abrasion resistance, you have the waterproofness. So it's a really cool blend of like old school heritage cotton canvas with that new modern X-Pac, you know, backing. So you get a little bit of that X-Ply that pokes through on X-Pac bags, but it still feels and looks like a canvas bag. So it's really, really cool fabric.
And I'm looking at that duffel, adventure duffel, the Mars Rover 303 adventure duffel. Wow, that looks amazing. I'm not the kind of person that uses these. For the lack of a better description, okay, imagine a guy in a Porsche, this kind of dapper style from Mad Men, and he has this duffel because he only has to walk like 20 meters from the car to his office. He has a cigar in his mouth. So that kind of person, I'm not. So I never used this kind of weekend duffels. But if I would get that Rover one, that looks great.
I am definitely not that person, but that's what I like about these bags so much is I kind of get to pretend to be that person for the day. You know what I mean? That's what I get to pretend to be that kind of person for the day.
Exactly. So that brings me maybe a good segue in terms of like pretending and different perspectives. I mean, you now have reviewed a lot of bags.
Yeah.
You are one of the proper reviewers. Did something change in terms of, or did your perspective on bags and how you review them, did that change after now having seen so many different bags, also so many high quality bags? Did something change for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Now that I'm looking at it under a microscope, you could say, to try to cover the viewpoints of many people. So yeah, my aspect definitely changed, and sometimes I feel like maybe I'm too close, right? And I don't know how to put it into words, but I definitely look at the bags more now, and I can see. Like the biggest thing on my channel is like price, right? If you would review an expensive bag, people just let you know in the comments, right? Like no bag should cost XXX. It doesn't matter if the bag's $40 or $700. Somebody's going to have a problem with the price. And sometimes with these higher end bags, when I'm looking at the quality, looking at the stitching, I'm looking at the materials, and even some things that I have purchased myself for projects, like I can kind of see where the money and the quality is. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? Like the Embarro Raven, when I looked at that bag, I'm like, $660 for this bag. It seems like a really good deal. And everyone's like, no backpack should ever cost $600. I'm like, man, like I've purchased materials. I've looked at this bag, like one guy making them, let's just say you pay him $20 an hour. Like how long does it take him to put one bag together? And like, I can totally see that. So I find myself on that line now, like looking at bags, I guess, from behind the curtain versus just as a pure consumer. And I find myself being like, you know what, that's actually a really good deal. And, rewind like 3 years ago, I'm like $300 for a backpack, right? And that's most of the people in the world, right? They're like, you paid how much for that? I'm like, it's actually a really good deal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you brought up a very good perspective that I also always bring up when I have to kind of, in air quotes, argue with clients that want to book me as a freelancer, and that sometimes are questioning my pricing, and then I'm kind of once you break it down and what kind of work you have to do and how much work it takes to do that, they kind of like, and also once you break out like the budget, and then you tell them, okay, this is what I would make hourly, then they're like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. And I think what you just said in terms of breaking it down, especially in the example of Embarro, where it's just one person that puts these things together by hand, by himself or herself. Is it a guy?
It's a guy, yeah.
It's a guy, yeah, by himself. Then, and you suddenly ask the potential buyer, okay, how much do you earn per hour? And then they say that, and then you're like, yeah, that's basically a good deal that you're getting here, because he sat there probably 2 weeks or maybe, or whatever time. I have no clue. And he made that, and that is his price. So if you break it down into hourly wage, then it's not that expensive anymore. So that's a really good way to put it, how you just said it. So that's really cool.
So I just found that perspective a little bit. I noticed that about myself, that when I'm looking at these bags, it just kind of seems like, oh, okay, well, I can see where their asking price of $200 is totally justifiable.
And speaking of what you would consider justifiable, if you would see a specific bag with no price now, what are the most important features that you're looking for? Or what would kind of break the deal if you see like, okay, this is a very expensive bag, and then suddenly something is missing, and then you would be like, what would that feature or that thing be where you would say like, okay, forget it, I'd rather go with a different item bag?
Oh, that's a tough one, because I also am like kind of like the lines of like Clint from The Perfect Bag, where I view bags a lot of times as artwork and craftsmanship. And
interesting.
So I have a weird perspective. Sometimes a lot of people will look at a bag and say like, oh, this doesn't work. I'm like, yeah, but if you appreciate the bag's form or, something about it. So I have a really weird perspective. So I don't know if there's an absolutely deal breaker in any bag. Obviously, right, I'm not going to pay like $10,000. I've seen some like Marc Jacobs bags, right, for like $10,000.
Or Birkin bag.
Or Birkin bag, exactly. Like that's just out of my realm of possibility. But generally I'm like, that's pretty cool. I try to find something positive versus where I think a lot of people try to focus on negatives. And of course the negatives, they're valid, right? But I try to figure out what the designer was going for. What was their goal with this bag?
Oh, I like that.
Because I think that if you try to put yourself in their perspective, you can kind of see like, hey, well, their goal of this bag was to never be in wet weather. That's why it has X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? And it doesn't apply to you because you live in a swamp. So obviously,
that's interesting. I like that a lot. So since you don't put so much emphasis, I would say in the features of the bag, did your packing style change then in some way since you review bags? I mean, it sounds like you don't look for the features, you look for the philosophy of the designer, and I would probably assume that then your packing style has changed quite a lot.
Yeah,
right?
Depending on what I'm reviewing, like right now, I'm testing some smaller bags, so I can't pack my lunch into my backpack, right? So I have different lunch boxes for different bags. I have different, tech pouches, tech kits, and sometimes bags just have so many pockets where I don't need any of that. So yeah, my carry definitely changes with every bag that I'm testing. And right now I'm on a string of like smaller bags, 17-liter bags and an 18-liter bag, and that's just too small for me. So I have to like multi-bag it. So my whole lunch setup, because I take my lunch to work, that whole thing is just completely separate from my bag. And
I remember that.
Yeah.
So, but did you optimize the way you pack now in a way? I mean, it sounds very much like that you kind of completely, please correct me if I maybe read between the lines a little bit wrongly, but it sounds to me like you kind of embrace every single bag the way it is, and therefore kind of use the bag the way maybe the designer intended to, and therefore you always change your packing style. Is that
that's 100% correct?
Okay,
I try to adapt to what the bag is going for. It's just like I just did a review on a bag from a company called Huru. I think you've done one as well.
Yeah, I actually have one here as well.
And it's a small 17-liter bag, and it's called the Urban. Yeah. So in my mind, that bag is made for the city. It's made for the commuter on the go. So it has, some quick access pockets, and I try to use it in that fashion, right? Because that's kind of, if you read the marketing sales pitch and it's for the person on the go, it's a quick access. It's kind of, even in their marketing materials, they show a guy on a motorcycle, kind of like on the fast, quick access, small bag to get to the city. And I kind of try to use it in that lane. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to use this 17-liter city bag as a 2-week minimal personal item travel bag. You know what I mean? Because I think if you do that, you're just setting the bag up to fail, and then you're just gonna, I'm trying to find ways to use the bag as intended. Of course, I'll touch on if it can be like a Goldilocks bag, right? Can you use it as a personal item? Can you travel with it? Because it does have a luggage pass through, but I think the bag itself excels in the city, right? So I try to, like you said, I try to stay in the vein of what it was designed for.
That's cool.
Because I think if you venture too far off, you kind of you're setting the bag up for failure, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
And how about, can you remind me and the viewers or listeners a little bit about what's your daily loadout nowadays? So we can kind of get an idea what you pack inside your bag on a daily basis.
So on a daily basis, if I'm carrying stuff that I need, like just in a general bag, it's a 26-liter bag, 26 liters. That's the perfect sweet spot. I need to carry tech for myself. That's like cords, chargers, stuff like that. And then I need to carry stuff for my job as well. So that's chargers, tools, and cord stuff, tools, stuff that I need for my job, computer, my lunch bag. I'm also carrying a little bit of PPE because I work in an industrial environment. So some personal protective equipment. And what else am I carrying? Oh, a water bottle. I carry my Yeti. This is my Rambler. And I do carry like a little boo-boo kit, first aid, Band-Aids, Neosporin, that type of things, and my medications and stuff like that. And then always have pocket knife, flashlight, cell phone, portable power bank, at arm's reach, just the basics. But I think the thing that really separates
that's a lot.
The basics, just the essentials for me.
That sounds so heavy. I remember being also, for listeners, you always walk, right? You always walk.
About 2 miles a day with my bag,
Wow,
every day.
That's so much. I would estimate that is at least 10 pounds, right?
Oh, my typical loadout is right about 23 pounds.
Wow.
That's normally what I carry, 23 pounds. Yeah. That's like my everyday carry. And that's why I lean heavily towards bags with very thick padding, very robust harness system. So like GORUCK. I mean, GORUCK's one of my go-to, you know, the GR1 26 liter AZO equipment, you know, bags that have that really beefy harness system, because I do put in miles with my bags. And some smaller bags, you know, like I love the Track Bannock Pro. It's a 27 liter bag.
I just got that actually.
Oh, you just got one?
Yeah, I just got one.
Love the bag.
Yeah.
But the harness system is a little bit thinner. So, you know, towards the end of my walks, you can start to feel a little bit of pressure versus the GORUCK bag, right? With a super thick padding.
Yeah.
And so you know, it definitely makes a difference because my loadout is heavy. But
your cardio must be amazing.
I wish.
Dude, you're walking 2 miles with 23 pounds on your back every single day.
Yeah, but it's like you do it every day and it just becomes like normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the definition of cardio.
Yeah. I mean, it's like sometimes when you watch National Geographic and you see those people walking with the stacks of bananas just balanced on, and for them it's just another normal day.
Exactly.
You know, they have 4 feet of bananas on their head, but it's just another day for them. And I kind of feel like it's the same way for me. It's like,
do you have like a fitness tracker?
No, I mean I have one, but no, I just
it's so fun because some of the fitness trackers, it shows you your cardio age comparatively to your real age. And your cardio age is probably like 16.
Like I said, I do it every day. I don't even turn my tracker on, but like my Apple Watch will say, it looks like you're doing an outdoor walk. Would you like to start tracking? It's just part of my everyday commute that.
That's crazy. That's a lot of weight. Wow. So how about everyday carry on your non-working days when you don't carry a backpack? Are you a sling bag person?
Sling 100% of the time. I like right now for really small slings, like the Air Street Sling, the Tomtoc T37, just small little crossbody. They're like 1.5 liters, and I'm just carrying the essentials, you know, phone, wallet, keys, you know, my pocket knife, flashlight, and that's pretty much it. Just it all fits in like a 1.5 liter bag, and that's pretty much all I carry. Just kind of like take everything out of my pockets, essentially. Just a pocket reliever.
Did you already check out the able carry Co-Sling?
I have not, and I want one so bad.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best not to order one because I have a literal bin of slings.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
I have and the last thing I need is another sling, right? So
it's the thing about that bag, which makes it the perfect dog owner's bag, is this front. I call it the temporary hands-free slot. So it is this open slot in the front. I don't want to kind of bring you into the situation that you want to buy it, but I need to tell you about it.
I'm probably going to break down and order it anyway. So I'm not even going to lie to you. Like it's eventually going to happen.
So you know those situations where you maybe have your keys or your phone in your hand, but you have your dog in the other hand, and then you kind of need a hands-free. Then you use that temporary slot to quickly store whatever you have in that one hand inside that quick temporary slot. And then you can basically pick up after your dog with the hands that is free. And I love that, just this temporary slot. It's really cool. And overall the bag is really cool.
Yeah, I watched your video on it, and it looks really killer. I think I'll eventually probably order the Ultra one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at it, like I said, from the glass, I'm looking at it through the shopping window. It seems like a really good deal for what it is. To me, the price tag seems like a really killer deal for the sling.
Yeah. So speaking of any future, what are you looking forward to review in the future? Is there anything coming up? Is there anything waiting to be reviewed? What you are really excited for? I finally got the modern day Farah, the smaller bag and the sling. So that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to using that. I think the sling is really unique, really innovative with their magnetic hasp, in the front. So
I like testing things that are a little bit different from the norm, right? There's a million black slings with zippers, and this one says, no, I'm not going to have a zipper. I have a magnetic latching point. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to hear your thoughts about that mechanism, because I'm honestly not too fond of it.
No, I can see it. It has its weaknesses, right? Just looking at it on paper, right? You can see, but again, I'm going to approach it from why did they design it this way, right?
Yeah.
Why is there no zippers? And kind of look at it that way. Obviously, we all know, right? Since it doesn't have any zippers, there's security issues and things of that nature, right? So those to me, I seem are pretty obvious, but I'm going to try to figure out why. You know what I mean? I like to look for the why.
Yeah. Anything else?
I'm drawing a blank right now. I do have one from King Kong as well. That will be right after the Grams 28. I don't know if you've seen the core backpack from King Kong. Yeah, they make gym bags, but this one, what drew my attention to this one is it's kind of, well, first off, it's a wax canvas, and not just any wax canvas. It's the Haley Stevenson's wax canvas, and I got it in camo, and I just think the bag is just gorgeous. And now I know it's meant to be a gym bag, and it has a shoe compartment and a couple of gym specific features, but I just think that whoever designed that bag must have been a bag nerd, or is a bag nerd, because you can see a lot of traditional bag nerd things in that bag. And then of course, it has a little bit of fitness and gym inspired features sprinkled in, but it definitely is a unique bag being in a fitness space, in my opinion. And I got the medium, the core backpack. I think it's like a 25 or 26 liter bag.
35.
Oh no, that's the bigger one. They have 3 sizes. There's like a 22,
15, 35, and large. The core duffel.
Oh, no, not the duffel. I have the core backpack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The duffel looks really, really good.
I got a friend who has it, and that's his go-to gym duffel. Like that's the bottom line for him. He swears up and down by that duffel.
Okay.
So I got that one in the works. It's an interesting bag.
It's so funny that there are so many bag brands.
So many.
It's that they're like, in this case, they just went completely under my radar. I've never heard of this brand, but maybe because they are so, and it looks like a predominantly weightlifting centric.
Yeah, that's their focus, and I think maybe that's why they do fly under the radar. But that's exactly why this particular bag caught my eye, because what power lifter? I mean, if you're a power lifter lifting weights, wax canvas bag, how would that be on your radar? But somebody over there at King Kong, like I said, is a bag nerd, because there's a lot of like bag nerd things about the bag. There's leather accents. There's leather about the bag. I mean, the wax canvas, the choice in it, I believe it is a custom wax canvas specifically for King Kong. I have to verify that, but I think that this specific wax camo pattern was a special build for them. So they've gone out of their way to build a good bag, not just a gym bag. You know what I mean? So
what I really like, for all of the audio listeners, but also the video viewers, I'm looking at this bag, and this duffel bag reminds me a lot of a camera bag, because it's very compartmentalized. You have these
they have dividers where you can put
and stuff like that. So with that in mind, I feel like this bag, if one of these if a prepper channel would see this bag, this would be the perfect go bag for your car, because you can organize it perfectly, keep it in your car, because the shape is very squarish. This is not a bag that I would be able to fit into a gym locker. So that would be
it's a big one,
a downside. But I can see this being in the car all of the time and being a perfect organizer and a go bag with all of this prepper kind of stuff, but also for tools and stuff. This looks intelligently
that's what caught my eye about King Kong. It says, like he's mentioned, they're powerlifting, fitness focused brand, but there's some things in there where a bag nerd would have really appreciated, just the average person. So I think they're doing a really good job design wise and blending the actual functionality in with the fitness, community. So it's pretty cool, pretty unique.
It's so funny that when you see other bag brands on the product page, you see like a laptop and stuff like that. And here on the product page, you see like a huge bottle of whey protein that they fit inside and stuff like that. It's, I mean, they know their target demographics pretty well.
Yeah.
It looks interesting.
I'm interested in getting that bag on the channel too, because I also want to see what is that going to do for my audience? Because I think typically my channel draws people who are heavy into the bag community. I think that's my core viewership. But I wonder if this bag being a fitness inspired bag, if I will get viewers in from that community as well, you know?
Yeah, I feel like the bag enthusiast space is somewhat tight knit, because from what I can gather, when people in air quotes from mainstream ask me, why do you do bag reviews? It seems to me that many people wouldn't really look at a bag review. They would just buy it. Mostly. I would say, I would kind of speculate that gym goers just look at the page. Okay, there goes my whey bottle, this and that. And they wouldn't really, okay, with the price of $300, maybe they look for a review. But
yeah,
you know what I mean? I feel like most people, when it comes down to bags, I feel like it's more regarded either utilitarian or a fashion statement, and you wouldn't go look for a review for a pair of jeans. You know, that's kind of how I feel.
I have a difference of opinion on that.
Okay.
I think that the average consumer wants to know, even if it's a $20 purchase, if it's worth the $20, because the market is so saturated. Some of the best performing videos on my channel, actually the best performing videos on my channel, are of Tomtoc gear. And my belief is that that's a lot of people from Amazon who are coming and saying, this backpack costs $100. Is it worth my $100? So they come from Amazon to YouTube to look for these videos. And I've noticed it. The Tomtoc stuff on my channel outperforms Evergoods. It outperforms,
that's true. That's those are really good performers. By the way, what are your thoughts about Tomtoc? I feel like they're a disruptor.
No affiliation with the brand, but I was a huge fan of Tomtoc way before I even started reviewing bags. I have so many Tomtoc bags. I have custom bags. Yeah. I have up here on my shelf, I have a custom vent pack. I have custom slings that I've built on their, they have a website where you can build your own custom gear.
I know.
And I've done all this like before I even started reviewing bags. So I think that for me, the reason I love Tomtoc so much is because cost to value. I think that the value really exceeds the cost of what they're bringing to the market. So that's why I love them so much, because no matter how many bags I have, I still appreciate a good deal. And every time I get a Tomtoc product, I feel like I'm getting a good deal. Yeah.
I was also so mind blown when I got the first Tomtoc bag. I was, okay, first and foremost, when I saw the bags either on Amazon or the product page, I felt like, just from pure pictures, I thought like, okay, this is the typical Amazon bag from the design and stuff like that. And when I got it in my hands, I was also like, okay, it's better than I thought. Still, I have this budget-friendly perception of it. And then I tested it, and I was really surprised by what you're getting for the price. And that's why I'm not sure if the word disruptor is the right word, but I feel like they're shaking up the industry quite a lot by being able to have such a competitive price point whilst keeping it. Don't get me wrong, it's obviously not the build quality like Evergoods or anything, but I would, and the design isn't as perfect, but
it's not as refined,
but I would argue brands like these typical brands that we knew from when we were smaller, like JanSport, X-Pac, and to some degree, because they're in a fairly similar price bracket, Air, for example, I would argue that that is a very scary outlook for Air, because you can get Tomtoc on Amazon worldwide. While Air, you have to buy them directly from Air and have to deal with international shipping and custom fees. I I would be looking closely at what Tomtoc is doing if I would be in that price segment, because they are so close, right?
Those are some of the toughest questions to answer when people ask you, like, what should I get, the Air City Pack Pro 2 or the Tomtoc, whatever? And you're like, man, that's a tough spot because both are really good in their own aspect. But like you mentioned, I think Tomtoc's prices, just take the T35, for example. It's X-Pac. It's VX21. They're using YKK AquaGuard zippers.
What's the pricing again with that one?
I think that one is like $60 for like the 3.5 liter. I think.
See, that is a very competitive price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're using all the same materials as the other brands. They're using real X-Pac, YKK zippers. They're using Duraflex hardware. So all the buzz names that you hear in quality bags, Tomtoc is using as well, and at a very different price point.
Yeah, hold on, let me just check the backpacks. So
this one's the Sling in particular, the T35 X-Pac.
And it's X-Pac. So let's take a look at the T66 travel backpack. $87.99 US. That is very competitive.
And it's a very good bag.
Yeah.
And that's why I said that bag easily, when I got it in, the new one, they have a lightweight version. I was like, this is, in my hands, it feels like a $150 bag.
Yeah.
And it's $87.
And again, I personally would rather go with a bag from Air just because I like the styling a little bit more. But if it comes purely down to utility and really good build quality for the price that you're getting, and you kind of think to yourself, okay, I need to factor in international shipping. I mean, you can get those at Amazon, but still, if you factor that in, maybe custom fees, and then suddenly you are at the same, still cheaper than a newer one from Air or Bellroy. It's, again, for bag enthusiasts, we probably would think differently, but for the mainstream, it's a very hard argument.
I feel like the mainstream wants to invest in a good bag, that's something that's going to last. And I think that's where Tomtoc comes in. It's an affordable price point. The bag is fairly durable and it should last you a long time. Now, is it going to last you a lifetime? Probably not. And I think that's where the person that's looking for a extremely well-built bag, and that's where Air comes in, right? I mean, 1680D ballistic nylon, crazy material, right? Crazy material. And then the build quality of something like Air, right? I think that's where you'll see the price jump. And I always tell people, if you want something that's durable, it's going to last you a fairly good amount of time, Tomtoc. If you want something that's built like a tank and it's going to last you, like, I would say, your lifetime, then something like the Air, you know what I mean? Because the quality, and then, like you said, the design difference, right?
Yeah.
Air's just, they're better looking bags, there's no way to cut it, right? They're just better looking bags.
Totally. It's just like buying either Nike sneakers or maybe Skechers.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get basically the same thing. It's a sneaker, but the other one is looking better. And I feel like I need to say this because I already can see a comment being typed. We are not trashing Air. I don't trash Air. I love Air. I love Air. I think this is just like I
love Air.
Yeah.
I would go on record. I'll go on record here. The Air City Pack Pro 2, in my opinion, is the best backpack that came out in 2025. That's my opinion.
I need to ask, because this is also a very controversial topic. What's your opinion on the Ultra fabric? I think
love it.
Yeah, same, right? I love it too, but I also know a lot of people who kind of don't really vibe with this kind of crinkly, used look, right? Ultra
fabric is the most amount of, I have the most amount of gear in Ultra, like my personal gear, stuff that I buy for my personal collection. A lot of it is Ultra. I mean, I have my shelf here. I have a GORUCK GR1 in Ultra.
Wow.
I have, a couple of CT bags in Ultra. I have slings in Ultra. I just love it. And they just released the green Ultra. So I cannot wait to get my
from Air.
No. Challenge Cellcloth. So I don't know any makers. I don't know any makers who are producing it yet. But Challenge, I think 2 weeks ago, announced that now they have a Hunter Green. because they have Silverado, they have Black Magic, they have White Lightning, a couple of different colors. Only a handful of colors.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think one of the able carries is in White Lightning, I believe, right? Do they have a white one? But
yeah, but that's not.
It's not the Ultra one.
It's not. I'm not sure if it's called Ultra, the able carry. I'm really bad with memorizing all of the fabric.
Oh,
names.
It's impossible. There's just so many variants.
Yeah, but I feel embarrassed because so many of my viewers can correct me when it comes down to me saying the wrong fabric, which is totally justified. I should know better, but I totally forget sometimes. So the Co-Sling.
I know they have it in black.
Doesn't even say. Oh, it is Ultra. It is Ultra. They have rim stop and they have Ultra. Yeah. And I have the Ultra White Panda version, which is really good.
So I'm pretty sure they're using, if the Ultra is the White Lightning from Challenge Stealth Block. If it's Ultra, then it's going to be the White Lightning. That's what Challenge calls it. You know what I mean? And
you know, the thing about this fabric is I feel like the visual properties that I really liked about the Air Ultra Collection backpack isn't really visible in this smaller version, which is why I probably didn't perceive it as Ultra, because when you have a bigger surface area, I do like that it's kind of crinkly and looks kind of like a pebble in a way, like a rough pebble. And when it's a smaller backpack and there is not that much visible area, it doesn't show this property, which I know many people didn't like a lot, that it looks this crinkly, and I personally like it a lot. And on the Co-Sling, I didn't notice it as much as I would have liked, actually.
That's the thing I like about that collection as well, is because my two favorite fabrics are the Ultra and then like the Robic Ripstop. Those are like my two favorite fabrics, and they released them both in those. So I think either way you chop it up, you're going to get a really good sling. And when I do order it, because I know I'm going to give in, I just don't know which one I'm going to want.
What's your favorite color, by the way?
My favorite color, I like Ranger Green. I like the olive drab, Ranger Green. Those are my favorites. And that's why my Grams 11 in olive is just so good.
Your favorite. So would it be the correct assumption that if someone would come to your house and says like, okay, I'm going to steal all of your bags, but you can keep two, one sling bag and one other bag. Would it be fair to say that you would say, I want to keep that Grams 28? Because it sounds like it.
Ooh. So the Grams 28 is just like, from me, like it just, so many things I like about it aesthetically and functionally. I just really like that bag. But my Mount Rushmore of bags, for me, the standard GR1, it's just so functional. It's so comfortable. Yeah. And if I'm not testing anything, I'm carrying the GR1. That's just what it is. And so if they're going to come and take all my bags, I would probably say, hey, don't take my GR1.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I'm actually trying to get one of the Heritage versions. Did you ever test the Heritage version of the GR1?
I have not. And I possibly can get one. I have a couple of trades in progress. My problem is I have 4 GR1s. 4? So the last thing I need is another GR1. Yeah, I have them in different materials.
Oh, okay.
Different materials, yeah.
Not like 4 black ones, all the same.
I've got 2 26 liters and 2 21 liters, and then all four are in different materials and colors. Yeah.
I'm still in the old naming scheme. For me, the GR0 is the 21 liter version. GR1 is the 31. Yeah. So that is stuck in my head.
I remember you making a video way back then when it was still called that. I still remember your old GORUCK video. That was a long time ago.
That was the first video.
Oh, that was your very first video?
Yeah, that was my very first video. That was, I needed to make that video because, I mean, I bought the bag by itself isn't cheap, right? No. But then I also back then, which I still don't understand why it's so expensive. The shipping fee was 90 euros. So back then it was 100 US dollars just for shipping. And then in Germany, you have to pay custom fees, not only on the product itself, but also on the shipping fees.
Yeah. Oh,
so
wow.
It was so expensive.
So expensive.
And that is why I thought like, okay, I need to make a video about it.
And I love GORUCK bags. I always tell people I'm a self-proclaimed GORUCK fanboy, but I can tell you that is one bag I don't understand the pricing of. I just, it's some of the, I mean, $400 for a 1000D Cordura bag. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of hard to swallow, but the function and comfort for me, that's where I pay the price, because, you know, GORUCK doesn't send me bags. So everything I have from GORUCK, I bought on my own. But I think GORUCK does have a EU store now. Now they do, right? Yeah. So
now they do. Back then they didn't.
Maybe easier now to obtain those bags, but I've always struggled with the price point of even the ultra version of the GR1. I mean, that was a $700 bag. You know what I mean?
I love the design of the GR series. And I mean, it's just like a Jordan shoe. You don't change it. But still, Nike has, they have the Dunks, they have the Air Max, and they have all of the other types of shoes. And I would so much love if GORUCK would be a little bit like Evergood in terms of, we have this bag, let's do this design. I question why they are, for the lack of a better word, so that sounds a little bit harsh, but I don't have other words, lazy in terms of, why don't you design something else? Because basically the GR1 and GR2 and GR3 are the same bag, just a little bit bigger. I don't understand it, to be honest.
There's some differences, but I totally understand your point. And I think that I don't know anybody at GORUCK, but I think like they're like, this is our lane and this is where we're going to stick to it. And like the water bottles, right? How many years people have been asking for a GORUCK bag with water bottle pockets, right?
Yeah.
And they've been in business now for over a decade or so, and still they still don't produce a bag that has external water bottle pockets, right?
Yeah, but it's a shame. Again, I totally understand that. I wouldn't change a Jordan. I wouldn't change it, but still, you have a different, you can branch out a little bit and say like, I mean, they have the M23 lineup, and I do appreciate that.
Love that bag.
I don't know. Make something more.
Yeah, that's why I love the M23 so much, specifically from GORUCK, because it's so different than any of the rest of their lineups. The M24 actually had external water bottle pockets, but that's just a different bag, right? But that bag is just way different from anything else they're offering. But to your point, right? They can keep your GR1, the classic GR1, but make a GR4 that's similar, but also has water bottle pockets. Maybe it has a luggage pass through. Maybe you know something that features that people have been asking for literally over a decade. But I don't know. Yeah. It's a $1 million question.
Yeah, well, not only. I mean, I would argue, considering your military, maybe not that much. I don't know. I don't know if military is still their go-to, or if they completely pivoted towards rucking. But I would argue that just like 511, that they have this gray man style, toned down, not as military, but this kind of style where you can see bodyguards or security type of persons carrying that, but they want the durability of whatever 511 has for their military guys. Yeah. I would really like to see that GORUCK also makes something. Okay, we know that some of the military people like our bags going in the field. Let's also cater to Secret Service, I don't know, or those types of people, right? Let's make not the GORUCK, Go Stealth, maybe. A GS, GS version or something. That would be so cool. I don't get it. It would be so fun.
It could be. I mean, maybe they think they're doing that. Maybe they think with bags like the Heritage line, right? Maybe maybe they think they're covering that market by releasing bags in wax canvas. You know, who knows? Yeah. I would love to. I know. I mean, I saw Jason McCarthy's AMA on Reddit recently, and sounds very much like they're still military, very heavily rucking focused, and I guess the tone of his language sounded like that. Not only are they more rucking focused now than ever, but they're going to double down on rucking for 2026. So they're just going to keep leaning into that lane. So it's interesting. I guess for the carry nerd, it's not that interesting.
I feel like I'm asking these in air quotes controversial questions because I'm trying so much to kind of interview more brands, and a couple of them, said like, "Oh, we don't have time for that," and I sometimes wonder if it's because I'm asking these types of questions.
I mean, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Jason McCarthy on the podcast would be great.
That would be very interesting.
That would be awesome for you,
especially because he's also a dog person. Yeah. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I'm asking the last question that I always ask. Okay. What has been it's not about bags because I already asked that, but what was your favorite purchase, or not favorite, maybe memorable? I mean, sometimes we buy things that we don't like. So of the last 12 months, anything that you really liked or potentially were a little bit disappointed because you were saving up so much money and then you bought it and it was like not that great?
Well, speaking to a videographer here, my first camera purchase, I was just so overwhelmed.
Which one is it?
I ended up going with the Sony ZV-E10 II, the Mark II.
Yeah.
Because based on all the YouTube videos I watched and the research that I've done, it seemed like the most noob-friendly video camera. And that seemed to be the consensus across the board. But the comparison analysis that I got into of just looking at so many different cameras and then learning about ecosystems like Canon versus Sony.
Yeah.
Like, I am not a camera person, so that whole ordeal was just like mind numbing and soul crushing. Because like, I feel like I'm so busy and I had to learn about something new and I don't have time to learn something new. And that's kind of why I went with the Sony ZV-E, because it seemed to have the smallest learning curve, which for me is still huge because I don't have time to really deep dive. So I got it set up. I've had it for about a month. I've done about 3 or 4 videos now with it. I'm still learning. I probably will ask you questions in the future.
Sure. Always ask.
Once we start getting in, I'm just using the kit lens, but going forward, when I start to take it outside, like filters and lenses and it's just a whole nother rabbit hole that I wasn't ready to fall down, but here I am.
But are you regretting that?
No. The difference in video quality, and even for somebody who doesn't know anything about cameras, it was immediately evident. Like the first video I shot, I was like, okay, the iPhone is great and is tremendous for its size and shape and form, but this thing is just, I felt like I immediately jumped up to the next level here now with the camera. And I get why creators love these things, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely was an improvement, but a learning experience for sure. But yeah, definitely finally after being on YouTube for over a year, finally getting a camera. That's definitely
so cool. Yeah. But I can totally see that it might be overwhelming. I think the most important, also first and foremost, always feel free to contact me. I'm always happy to answer your questions about that. But I think the most important part is to not listen to all of the people who say filming or shooting photos in auto mode isn't allowed. It's totally fine. If it works for you, do it. Because I see too many people who are saying, oh, you're using the program mode. Oh, you're using the automatic mode. That is so stupid. What are you doing? And I'm saying, well, if it works for that person, just do it that way.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because what really sold me on this particular camera was one particular review I saw where the reviewer said, look, I'm too busy. I need something that I can take out of the box and it's going to work straight away. And this camera does that. Like, she's like, I don't have time to learn camera settings and XYZ. Like, I need something to work out of the box. And that's actually the review that said, okay, that's me. Like, I don't have time to deep dive in ISO settings and exposures and all that. Like, I just need something to work right out of the box. It's going to give me great quality footage. And it's funny you mentioned that. So yes, I'm still very much there. I'm sure this thing can do way more than I'm using it for, but eventually, hopefully I'll get there and start learning about, you know, auto white balance. I mean, the white balance and ISO and that whole just thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's baby steps. And I would say this is a really good step moving forward. And I think the kit lens, I'm still working with kit lenses. There's no, for me nowadays, it's getting the shot. And if it's too complicated and it makes you miss something, it's not worth it. Then just leave it in auto, film the way it's comfortable for you, and then you're golden.
This is exactly why I appreciate your videos on your second channel, because you speak a lot of truth into things like this, right? Like you don't need the $1,500 camera. You know, you can grab your DJI and you can make great quality content with the Pocket 3, right? Like, that's why I really appreciate you starting that second channel, because I get in my head sometimes about those things, but hearing you, an experienced YouTuber, saying like, you don't need all this stuff.
Exactly.
You know, yeah, I really appreciate the videos on your second channel.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Yeah, and I mean, you also, I really wanted to tell you this because you will get so many people being like, that are very in particular about stuff that are so detailed, where you think like, it's about what I'm saying, not about what's being shown. For example, I already can imagine that since you shoot in auto, someone is like, oh, the motion blur isn't that great. Oh, it seems like you don't use the 180-degree rule. And that will happen. And I would say
it has happened already.
Yeah. Oh, it's so stupid. It annoys me so much.
It's happened. And I just, when I reply, because I respond to every comment, right? So I reply like, I'm not a YouTuber. I have a full-time job. I have a family. I have 5 dogs. This is just something that I'm doing off in the corner and the side. So like, there's people who do this for a living, and I am not one of those people. You know what I mean? And
then it also comes from people who don't put any content out themselves. So I'm like, what are you talking about? It seems like you've never been. I mean, I know this from, I really like to, for the audio listeners, I'm holding up a mic in my hands. And so for those of you who don't know, on my second channel, I like to keep it in my hands like this. Or I see people putting the lav mic on like a pen or a cooking utensil.
Yeah, and I've seen that on the spoon.
Yeah, and people are like, what are you doing? That thing goes here on your collar, and they don't realize that it makes it much easier if you have something in your hand to just talk to the camera. It's just like this meme with Will Ferrell, where he's like in front of the camera. I don't know what to do with my hands. Yeah, it's just like that, right? And those are the people who never been in front of a camera that are criticizing people like you and I who just want to make videos. And it's
the glory of the internet.
Welcome to the internet. All right, thank you so much for taking the time, John. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm glad the podcast is back, and thank you for inviting me back on here. I love chatting with you.
Of course. I mean, I enjoy talking to everyone. I've just, like I've mentioned once, especially with you waking up. So everyone, please go to John's channel and give him a subscription and a like, because he woke up early just to be on this podcast. So I really appreciate you taking the time, and especially considering this terrible time difference.
Anytime for you, Bo.
All of the back, I think at one point we should make like a meetup, maybe on the East Coast of USA, in the middle. So some of UK, Germany. Okay, for everyone in Australia and in Asia, I think Aaron would have had a hard time coming from Hong Kong to. Although we could visit his. Isn't he from Florida? We should meet in Florida then. Yeah,
Danny's
already there.
Yeah, Danny's down there.
We could all be there in our swimsuits at the beach of Miami or wherever. That would be pretty cool.
Chase is just right up the road for me. I think he's in Austin, so he's only about an hour away from me.
Yeah. You could kind of share a flight or a car ride. That's a long car ride from Texas to Miami.
From Texas to Miami. Oh, you're talking about 18 hours.
You
in a car?
Me?
No,
in a car. 18 hours in a car.
Yeah.
Holy crap! I didn't realize that it's that far.
Texas, to drive across Texas from point to point is 12 hours. That's how big Texas is. Yeah. It takes 12 hours.
Bigger in Texas, right?
Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas. Yeah. If you're driving from like the edge of Houston to El Paso, that's a 12-hour drive just to get across the state.
Wow, this is Texas is huge.
I think you can fit Germany inside of Texas.
Yeah, I can imagine. If it's 12 hours, obviously.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right. Where can people find you?
You can find me right here on YouTube at UnPack'D. And then, of course, I do a lot of stuff on Instagram. I share a lot more content on Instagram behind the scenes. And that's also going to be unpacked_with John on Instagram. But thank everybody for checking out the podcast today. And I'm always open to the DMs and questions. And I'm a smaller creator, but I love helping people at the end of the day. And that's why I started this channel. So if you have a question about something, feel free to reach out to me. Like, I always take time to answer people's gear questions. That's my favorite thing to do, actually.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, everyone, please follow John at UnPack'D. I will also link it in the description below. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we hear each other in the next episode. Thank you very much.